So it felt like they have kind of pick and mixed like the whole sort of series and like kind of assembled it into a kind of like, you know, greatest hits. Yeah.
So Leon has been lucky enough to play Far Cry 6 for a whole day, and what do you think about it?
It's really good. It's interesting that it feels like it's stepped back into there's elements of Far Cry 2, 3 and 4. They have like the checkpoints of Far Cry 2 where like if you take them out, every time you drive past them, you get into trouble. If you take them out, they're gone. The alarms and the bases felt a lot more like Far Cry 3 where you sneak in, you can take out the alarms, you don't get reinforcements.
Yeah.
So it felt like they have kind of pick and mixed like the whole sort of series and like kind of assembled it into a kind of like, you know, greatest hits.
Yeah. And you played it from 9 o'clock in the morning till 4 or 5.
Yeah, if you had like a big old
and
chunk
you enjoyed the
it.
whole thing.
Yeah, it's really good fun. It's fun. Every time I play a Far Cry, I wonder like how much like it's got left in it, like because it's always the same systems and bases and maps and unlocking things and stealth, and weirdly every time they put it in a new location it's sort of fun again. And Yara's like a sort of lovely island. It recalls a lot of Far Cry 3, so there's a lot of like lush jungles, red sort of uniforms and colours. But you also have cities, and they have this new mechanic where you can holster your gun and you can walk around. If you just put your gun away and act normal, you get left alone.
So you get to explore places where there are people and you can chat to, and they're not gonna, if you've just shot the village over or you've previously shot it up, as long as you holster your gun and you abide by the rules, you're absolutely fine.
Yeah, but when you do cause trouble, because that's the sort of the point, it's still as fun as it's ever been.
But you also said that when it all goes wrong and you have to pull your gun out, the guns are also fun.
The guns are interesting. So you have your backpacks. The rocket one is the most fun because that basically just fires a mortar strike in front of you, and that really takes care of all the problems. The novelty guns,
all of my problems in life.
Yeah, it just fires like a mortar strike ahead of you. And it was an amazing moment when we were doing the co-op mission, and the helicopter was always a problem. So I made a point of rushing out, and like the helicopter was just taking off, and I just fired loads of rockets at it, and it just blew it out the air when it was about 3 foot off the ground.
Because you know, like anything I can see is going to get carpet bombed.
Yeah,
so you don't even have to worry too much about aiming. Just like bang.
Yeah. And there's another one that like jumps you up in the air and like fires like flames around you. That like, so if you're overwhelmed, it like
get out of this.
Yeah. There's an EMP one. There's one that heals you, which I guess is better for co-op, but I guess it like poofs out some healing gas or something. The novelty guns are a little bit weird. The one I like the most is there's one which is like a revolver shotgun and a sort of a motorized shield. It gets a bit bigger, so you bring the shield up, knocks the gun in,
right.
And it pretty much one-shots everyone. It's a really powerful
The thing that
tool.
I'm really interested in from an attacking point of view is your pets or the animals.
Yeah.
What are they like?
They're really good fun. Like, so I used there's a crocodile you get given straight away, Guapo, and he basically just chews people up. Like the first time you meet him, the guy's like, I think he likes you, and he comes up and just drops a foot at your feet. Fetch, yeah. The trouble with him is that he just doesn't do stealth. So if you take him with you, so you can be creepy.
So you can't then walk into a village, even if you're hosted this, mate, you've got a crocodile. We're not letting you in.
The guy says you may want to leave him behind because he doesn't really do stealth. And I forgot, and I'm creeping around like kind of doing all these stealth kills, and suddenly you hear all this screaming, and there's just the guy like trying to fight this crocodile off. So you're like, okay, yeah. There's Chorizo, which is the little Frankenfurter dog, the little wiener dog, with the little wheels on.
Yeah.
Like if you're walking around with him, like the people will comment on him. Like I was walking.
Oh really?
I was walking through a city, and the guy was like, "Hey, you make those wheels yourself? That's nice."
Oh, that's so cool.
But he distracts guards, so like you'll send him in, and
because he's so cute.
Yeah, they'll be going like, "Oh, he's a good boy," and you'll
that's
come
amazing.
Behind him and like and then there's like an attack chicken. His name I've forgotten, but he's basically like a cockfighting rooster with big spurs, who has a vendetta against the army's attack dogs. With Far Cry 5, I think Primal did it as well, where certain animals were better for certain things. I think it's following that theme of all the different animals have different like perks almost.
They've cherry picked some of the best things in previous Far Cry games.
Yeah, it felt like as I was playing it was kind of like, it was a bit of Far Cry 2, there's a bit of Far Cry 3, there's a bit of Far Cry 4. The one thing I think didn't quite gel is at the moment it feels like they've somehow made it harder to deal with like 360 degree like action. So when it goes wrong,
right,
not only have you got to deal with like kind of everyone on every angle attacking you, you've got mortars dropping like what felt like every sort of 10 seconds.
And you don't necessarily know where the mortar is, so you're just like, okay.
Yeah, if you can find the mortars and take them out, that makes things a lot easier. But it feels like there's a slight balancing issue. I don't know whether it's the range of the guards' like attacks or their perception or whatever, but when it goes loud, it feels harder to deal with everything behind you, above you, whatever.
Yeah.
So that feels like, it needs a little bit of a tweak.
So I like the fact that you even kind of went into this thinking like, they're not going to be able to do this again. I don't like, how do they keep reinventing this, make it fun? And yet you seem pleasantly surprised.
It's weird, like just changing the setting up just kind of gives it a refresh. And weirdly, like after Far Cry 5, it does feel like it's gone back a bit to sort of 3 and 4. It feels a little more modern than, say, Tibet and the South sort of American islands that 3 was in. So it feels a little bit more modern. And being able to go into the cities and walk around without a gun out feels a bit like the safe town in 2. So it's that mix of like all the old things kind of stirred together in a new setting, and it is kind of the same, but it's like it still works and it's still. I went into it going like, okay, it's the same old thing again. Then all the guns start going off and you're running around and going, but it's still fun.
Exactly. Just because it's the same old Far Cry does not mean it's a bad game.
No.
So when's it coming out?
7th of October.
Okay, great. So we'll have some more previews. We'll have a review on the website. So subscribe down below if you want to get that as soon as possible.